We got the coolest inventions from each state. Let's jump into this and check out what is the best inventions from each state in America. If any of these are your states or whatnot, let me know down below what you think. Yeah, let's jump straight into this and check this out, man.
What is going on, everyone? What was the coolest thing invented in your state?
Right.
Most of us learned about something that was invented wherever we came from while we were growing up. Talked about it in school, whatever. I always found that very interesting. You could take a little pride in something that, you know, bettered society if it was invented in your state in a way. I've had a few Texans bring up how Dr. Pepper was invented or created in their state. They always act like,
oh, we're gonna have like drinks and food and stuff, right? Like, because food is like an invention.
they had something to do with it too. It's really weird. But anyway, which one is the most important, cool, or just popular is debatable. We had a group discussion here at World According to Briggs, and we couldn't decide on how we should approach this subject. Important to society, most mass-produced, what was the most interesting. In the end, we just thought we would decide on a state-by-state basis, just whichever one we thought was the best one.
Bro,
this
what is
should
that?
be fun. If you think we're wrong on what the...
Oh, do you know what I would love? I'd love like a robot butler. They can like just get me drinks whenever I ask. Oh, that'd be so sick.
coolest in your state was? Let us know in the comments section below. There's no right, no wrong answer here. This is just kind of an opinion. All right.
Yeah, let me know down below as well if your state, well, like every state is going to be mentioned in this. So let me know what state you're from and what you think is the coolest invention.
Let's take a look. Alabama.
If you know.
Alabama is a pretty interesting state for a lot of different reasons.
Alabama.
But did you know the electric hearing aid was invented in Alabama? And it's got an interesting backstory. A man named Miller Reese Hutchinson spent 4 years researching this because he had a friend who had become deaf and mute after a childhood case of scarlet fever. He designed, worked on it, and created it at Alabama Medical College in 1898. That's how long they've been around.
Hey, that's one of the most... That's going to have to be one of the popular inventions, right, on this whole entire list because so many people have hearing aids now.
Alaska. Alaska gave us ranch dressing. No kidding. A plumber named Steve Henson was kind of the cook for this remote job site in Alaska in the 1950s.
Never had
one day,
ranch.
I guess they were out of, I don't know, mustard or other salad dressing, and he decided to spice up buttermilk, mayonnaise with some herbs, threw it on a salad. And it...
Oh, is that what ranch is? Buttermilk, mayonnaise, and some herbs? Sounds good. And this looks good. Give me some ranch and give me this view.
It was a big hit. He continued to make it, and then he got married. Him and his wife moved to California and opened up a restaurant called Hidden Valley Ranch.
Of course it did.
Alaska also gave us kayaks. I feel that one needs to be mentioned too. Arkansas. Now this one we were kind of on the fence with because Walmart comes from Arkansas, and that's really not an invention. It's just really a business, but it's still got its roots in Arkansas.
What is the definition of like an invention though? It's something you create. So like Walmart, you create Walmart. Do you know what I mean?
But this one may shock some of you. Movies with sound started in Arkansas. A man named Freeman Owens put sound to film in 1923 and held 200 patents during his lifetime.
Oh, that's way better than Walmart. That's probably the best invention that's going to be on this list then. Movies with sound? Yo, how would we survive?
Arizona.
Without that.
The taser. Everyone knows and loves the taser. You can watch YouTube videos about people getting tased all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do, sadly. The taser was invented in Arizona by a NASA scientist named Jack Cover.
Am I weird? Am I like the only person ever to not watch a video of someone getting tased?
Now, he developed the taser in the 1970s, but it used gunpowder to actually launch the prongs. Well, nobody was buying it, and the business eventually collapsed. Well, around 1993, two Arizona brothers reached out to Cover and asked him to help them develop a taser that could be sold.
Why is this looking like a face in the rock? Do you see that? The forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheek. Is that actually a face? No, that's a face. That has to be a face. Surely, right?
To civilians for personal protection. Maybe it was the time or the switch over to compressed air instead of gunpowder. Either way, it started selling, and now it's a big part of law enforcement and people trying to get to their car at the mall in the middle of the night. California.
You know what? I just want to get a horse and just travel through this area right here. That's what I want to do. Life is completed at that point. Just get a horse. I can't even ride a horse, but I'll figure out and just travel, man.
A big part of law enforcement and people trying to get to their car at the mall in the middle of the night. California,
Wait,
the
what?
iPhone. Yes, in 2007, Steve Jobs brought us...
Oh, there's actually so many cool inventions from all different states. This is hard. I still think the most important is watching something with sound. Because you guys won't be able to watch this right now. What's the point of an iPhone? You won't be able to watch anything on the iPhone? Of course, you can like still text and stuff, but
us the iPhone. I should say a bunch of engineers at Apple, along with Steve Jobs pushing it, brought us the iPhone. In 2007 is when it launched, and in 2007, Time Magazine named it the invention of the year. Colorado.
Well,
the
yeah,
cheeseburger. Yes, McDonald's, Burger King, none of them came up with the cheeseburger. It was actually Denver's Humpty Dumpty Drive-In. They had this crazy idea to put some cheese on meat and then put 2 pieces of bun around it. I think they had hamburgers already at that point, but putting the cheese on it was just groundbreaking.
Wait. So you're telling me the hamburger was already a thing, and this is the coolest invention of slapping cheese on it?
Connecticut, vulcanized rubber.
I suppose we all eat cheeseburgers now, so it's a cool invention.
Vulcanized rubber doesn't sound like a big deal to most people, but Charles Goodyear discovered the secret of vulcanizing rubber, a process named after the Roman god of fire, Vulcan.
What is this?
And it's not just in tires, it's life jackets, gloves, pencil erasers, all kinds of good stuff use vulcanized rubber.
Right.
Runner-up for this one was the can opener. Came from Connecticut.
It's one of those boring inventions, but it's used in a lot of things, so you definitely need it. Like, it's a big one. You know what I mean?
Delaware. Kevlar. Kevlar came from Dow Chemicals, and it was invented by Stephanie Kwolek. She was a longtime chemist at DuPont.
Right.
And she discovered this synthetic fiber that's bulletproof. I mean, it saved a lot of lives, saved a lot of injuries. I, could have at least gotten a couple dozen stitches if it wasn't for a Kevlar helmet on a couple occasions, actually. But she...
Oh, wait, why? Oh, is the guy we're watching, Briggs, is he was in the military and stuff?
Invented this in the 1960s, and now it's everywhere. Runner-up in Delaware was, again, at DuPont in the 1930s. It was nylon. Florida. Florida gets 2, and they both have to do with how hot it is in Florida. One, this is where air conditioning was invented. The original version of air conditioning was just basically blowing air over frozen.
See, this is good for you guys. We don't have ACs over here. Like, we can get ACs, but it's very rare. I really want to get one.
Then towels and different fabrics, things like that. The second thing that was invented in Florida that I think is significant, Gatorade. An assistant for the University of Florida's football team asked university scientists about why so many of their players were having heat-related injuries and all that. Right. And they decided it was because electrolytes. So they decided to come up with a drink that would replace electrolytes. That drink is Gatorade. And the reason they named it that, the University of Florida's football team is the Gators. Georgia. Georgia has quite a few things. Coca-Cola, different...
You don't have to go further. You do not have to go any further. Coca-Cola, winner.
Forms of anesthesia, but probably the most important thing ever created in Georgia was...
More important than Coke?
It's the cotton gin. The cotton gin was invented by Eli Whitney in 1794. He'd been working on it for some time, but this amazing machine separated cotton fiber from the seeds, which used to be picked out by hand, one little seed at a time. Hawaii. Surfing.
Bro, what is that? It's just cotton?
Attribute Hawaiians to surfing. There's a lot of discussion on where it may have actually started, but what...
Of course Hawaii's surfing.
We know as surfing today is attributed to Hawaii. I mean, they perfected it and they made it popular. And they have some of the best surf in the world too, so it only makes sense. Idaho. Idaho invented television. Well, sort of. The original blueprints for television were drawn on a high school chemistry classroom blackboard in Idaho by a guy named Farnsworth in the early 1900s. But he didn't actually get around to making the device until 1927, when he relocated to San Francisco. Is anyone else surprised that Idaho's invention didn't have something to do with fishing with explosives? Illinois.
What? Wait, what are you guys doing in Idaho? You fishing with what?
The transistor. Yep, in Chicago, Illinois.
Yo, if anyone's from Idaho, you gotta let me know what is that about. You guys go fishing with that like TNT and stuff?
In a hotel room, William Shockley developed the first junction transistor in 1948. And if you don't know what that is, that's just a device that turns electric current on and off. These days, it's much more advanced, and it does everything from turn on lights to open your car doors with your remote. Things like that. Indiana, the washing machine. We all have a machine doing our laundry these days. days because of a dude in Indiana. His name was
thanks so much, Indiana.
William Blackstone, and he built the first rotary machine that removed dirt from clothes as a birthday gift to his wife in 1874. That is an incredible gift.
Yo, wait, like, I don't understand how people are just able to make these kind of things, right? But I imagine you're like, you know what? For my wife, I'm gonna make her a brand new device that will remove the dirt from. Bro, that's insane. That he's making is all look bad, man.
I mean, he didn't just give it to his wife, he gave it to all of us. Iowa.
True.
The first gas-powered tractor was invented in Iowa. An Iowa farmer named John Froelich got tired of dragging a steam engine out to the fields, and he came up with the gas-powered tractor. Kansas.
Cool.
The helicopter. I was going to go with the icy, you know, like the Slurpee type thing. That was invented in Coffeyville, Kansas at a Dairy Queen, but we're going to go with helicopters. So there was a local inventor type dude in Kansas named Rex Manival. He developed the helicopter in 1939.
Good Rex.
He only got so far with his invention before other people took it over and kind of ran with it. I mean, when he was doing it, he was only going a couple feet off the ground, and it was always attached to the ground by ropes. But he could lift off the ground with a helicopter, and yeah, that's where it started in Kansas. Kentucky, bourbon, and the song Happy Birthday, but we're going to go with bourbon.
Wait, Happy Birthday started in Kentucky? Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Happy Birthday surely has to be bourbon. Happy Birthday is used worldwide?
I wonder if the two of those had anything to do with each other. But no, bourbon was invented in Kentucky. There's a little discussion on who actually came up with bourbon and who first distilled it, but a lot of people attribute it to a Kentucky Baptist minister named Elijah Craig. He's the one that everyone thinks actually came up with bourbon. Louisiana, jazz. Most of this list is actually things you can put your hands on. Jazz you can't put your hands on, but I think this one's important. The first mention of jazz music was in 1916 in an article of the New Orleans Times, where they actually called it JAS bands, like jazz instead of a Z and S. Anyway, that was the first time it was ever mentioned. To know who actually invented jazz, well, that's impossible, but more than 100 years later, New Orleans is known as the birthplace of jazz. It's also the birthplace of poker. Maine, the diving suit.
Jazz and poker, oh, what an amazing combination. Two of which I cannot do.
Yeah, you gotta have a diving suit if you're gonna jump in the water in Maine. It's normally really cold. While metal diving suit concepts date way back to the 17th century, Leonard Lacrosse patented the first rubber diving suit in 1834. They also invented donuts there. Maryland.
Oh, donuts. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, donuts is better than diving suits. I ain't gonna lie. Come on.
Caps. They invented bottle caps in Maryland. A man named William Painter invented the bottle cap in 1891. Massachusetts. Facebook. Yes, Mark Zuckerberg developed it in his dorm room at Harvard. He also sort of had to settle with the dudes he kind of took the idea from. But regardless of the backstory, Facebook was developed at Harvard, which is in Massachusetts. Michigan.
What was that story about Mark and his roommates? I seen it, but I forgot it now. Wasn't it something to do with like his roommates came up with the idea for Facebook, or they was working on Facebook, and then he just like, did he take it or copy it? Bro, imagine being those roommates. Like, actually imagine and seeing how big Facebook is now. Bro.
Automobile assembly line. Now, the Model T Ford was also created here too, but Ford wasn't the first automobile assembly line. The first one was actually done by Ransom E. Olds, who came up with the Oldsmobile, and that was in 1901. Minnesota. Rollerblades. Now, everyone knows that Scotch tape and Post-it notes came from Minnesota, but not everyone knows rollerblades came from Minnesota.
I've never known how like people really use this stopper really good. Like, you know, if I've got the rollerblades and I like you go really quick and then you instantly stop, would you not just flip over?
Scott and Brennan Olson invented rollerblades in 1980. Mississippi, Pine Sol. You know the cleaning product? Pine Sol was invented in the Magnolia State. Chemist Harry A. Cole was living in some forest near Jackson, Mississippi, amongst all the pine trees, and started testing it as a disinfectant and deodorizer. And now we have Pine Sol. And if you ever spent any time in the military, you know everything is cleaned with Pine Sol. Missouri. The ice cream cone. The first ever ice cream cone was invented, but it first showed up at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair.
That's a good one.
Montana, the portable heart monitor. So for all you with a bad ticker, you could thank Montana for it. Actually, Helena, Montana was where it came from. Norman Jeffers Holter founded the Holter Research Foundation, and in 1947, he invented the wearable Holter heart monitor.
Oh, wow.
Nice. You can get out and get around. Nebraska, the ski lift. Yeah, the ski lift. Nebraska is one of the flattest states we have, and they came up with a ski lift. Well,
wait. Bro. I was gonna expect like him say that Nebraska's really like popular for skiing. Because I was gonna say, I'm surprised America is the one that came up with this. Because I'd think like somewhere like in I don't know, somewhere in Europe they ski a lot, like the Alps or something. I don't know, would come up. But yeah, no, the flattest place in America came up. Okay, nice.
The first time it was put in use was actually in Idaho. The reason the ski lift was invented wasn't for skiers. It was actually to move bushels of bananas.
Oh,
Nevada,
what?
blue jeans. In 1873, Levi Strauss introduced something that would become like iconic for America. It is probably the most successful article of clothing that the United States has ever had.
Right, blue
and
jeans.
Probably the world. New Hampshire. The Segway. Yeah, you know that funky thing that's replaced walking, or they want it to? The Segway was invented in Manchester, New Hampshire by Dean Kamen. He's an American engineer who's come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. Right now he's working on a water purification system that could, you know, turn swamp water into drinkable water. And it's pretty impressive. He's done things like the first at-home dialysis machine and a few other things. The guy's a genius.
Yeah, this guy's smart as... Bro, what?
He's still alive. A lot of people think he's dead because the guy that bought Segway from him drove a Segway off a cliff a year after buying the company.
Wait, the guy that bought Segway from him then owned Segway for a year. What, and died from a Segway coming off a cliff? Huh?
New Jersey, the light bulb. Thomas Edison gave us the light bulb, and his laboratory was in Menlo Park, New Jersey, not Menlo Park, California.
What did people do? Wait, oh, never mind. People, like, before light bulbs, it was like lanterns and stuff, right? Bro, that'd be so weird. Like, at night, everything would be really dark.
2-year time frame in the late...
Oh, it'd be nice, though. Like, you know when, like, you've got so many candles? Oh, it'd be a lot of effort. Oh, yeah. Actually, nah. I was thinking, like, when you got all the candles lit and stuff, like, it'll have, like, a really nice orange glow. But then I'm thinking, like, putting them all out and... oh, that'd be so... oh, yeah. Oh, thank God for the light bulb.
Late 1800s, he made over 3,000 different types of light bulbs trying to make one work.
Oh, wow.
The way he wanted it to, I should say. New Mexico,
I would have gave up on, like, the 5th one.
Atomic bomb. Yes, we have New Mexico to blame for blowing, I should say. New Mexico, the atomic bomb. Yes, we have New Mexico to blame for blowing up a couple cities in Japan back in the 1940s.
Wow.
The creation of the first atomic bomb was done in Alamogordo, New...
Yo, Briggs, you gotta realize your title here, bro. Your title is coolest inventions from each state. Coolest inventions. Bro just said atomic bomb that blew up cities in Japan. Coolest in... Okay, bro.
New Mexico. New York.
Okay,
Toilet paper. Toilet paper comes to us from the great state of New York. In 1857, an entrepreneur named Joseph Gady developed the first paper that was designed for your backside.
What did people use before? Their hands? Actually, wait, yeah. What did people use before toilet paper? So you go and take a crap, right? You get up. What did he do? What, like, without toilet paper, what did you do, bro? Did you just walk around? Just let your cheeks just rub it off? Bro, what?
North Carolina, the airplane. The Wright brothers first flew and got their business off the ground, quite literally, in North Carolina at Kitty Hawk. They actually first flew at a place called Kill Devil Hill, but Kitty Hawk sounds nicer when you're telling the story. People from Ohio like to argue this one because the Wright brothers are from Dayton, Ohio, but they first flew at Kitty Hawk or Kill Devil Hill.
Ah, lucky.
North Dakota, the Kodak camera. Yes, it's from North Dakota. I would have never guessed that one. I would have thought, you know, someplace with a lot of industry like, you know, maybe Ohio or New York or something like that, but North Dakota. Ohio, the traffic light. That's not as exciting as Superman. Superman was created in Glenville, which is a neighborhood in Cleveland, in 1933 by Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel. They sold the rights to DC Comics in 1938 for, get this, $130. That's almost $3,000 in today's money. Oklahoma.
What? Wait. You're telling me Superman was also in Ohio? And then you're telling me that you put the traffic light there? Bro, Superman is definitely cooler than the traffic light.
The parking meter. The parking meter was created in Oklahoma City, who had a problem. They didn't have enough parking places for all the cars, so they were trying to encourage people to get their shopping done and get out of town so other people could get there. So they started a nickel an hour parkometer program and had these meters.
Now they charge us for everywhere we go. Everywhere. Do you know what? Life is just about being charged. I've realized this every single year. I don't want to get too deep, but every single year you get older, you realize you get charged for everything. You'll get charged for even what you get charged for. So like you buy something or you sell something and you'll get charged on that, and then you get charged on that and that and that, and then charge. Bro, why do we just get charged for everything, man?
Oregon, Wikipages. So Wikipages would eventually become things like Wikipedia. But in 1995, Oregon-based programmer Ward Cunningham wanted to create a website where the average Joe could get on and update pages and add pages to it and just have it always growing. He used the word wiki from the Hawaiian term, which means very fast or quick.
Yeah, I never trusted Wikipedia, right? Because can't people just edit it like anyone? Or did it have to be approved?
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a lot of really cool...
I'm guessing approved, otherwise every Wikipedia page would just be absolute nonsense.
Things that came out of there. The suspension bridge, the first computers, Ferris wheel, and my favorite...
Wait. All from Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania has a lot of really cool things that came out of there. The suspension bridge, the first computers...
That's good.
Ferris wheel, and my favorite, bubblegum. Walter Dimer was a full-time...
Bro just said computers, and your favorite out of the list is bubblegum.
Accountant in Philadelphia when he started toying with the different recipes for gum, and he actually came up with bubblegum. Gum had already been around, but the actual type of texture and formula that they have now where you could actually blow bubbles with it was invented here in Philadelphia. Rhode Island.
I suck at blowing bubbles. I'm not gonna lie. My bubbles are so bad.
Rhode Island has a very interesting one. Diners. They came up with diners. They were the first ones to have them. But I think the most impactful one was the automatic sprinkler system that they put in buildings to, you know, knock out fires and stuff.
Yeah, that's helpful.
South Carolina. The military submarine. In 1864, during the Civil War, Horace Hunley developed the first military submarine, which was put into use during the Civil War. South Dakota, the cyclotron. Ernest Lawrence invented this particle accelerator in 1932, and it was used to discover things like different elements and cancer treatments.
What?
Tennessee.
Bro, what? This was built in 1932? Bro, why is this looking like it's in 2509, bro? Wait, 2500. What did I just... 2509. Or year 3000, whatever. Bro, this is looking futuristic, man.
To discover things like different elements and cancer treatments. Tennessee. Cotton candy. Cotton candy was developed in Nashville, Tennessee in 1897 by a dentist. I get the feeling he was...
Yo, he wanted more business. That dentist wanted more business. How is a dentist going to make... Bro, that's just full of sugar.
Just trying to get more customers.
Yeah.
Texas. I'm sure a lot of you think that their inventions have something to do with Old West and things like that. No, they've invented some pretty cool stuff. First one I want to tell you about is the electric typewriter. James Field Smathers invented the first electric typewriter in 1912. They also came up with the first handheld calculator.
I thought it was going to say gun. I thought it was going to say... Wait, first handheld calculator? Wow, what was it like back in the day? A big machine?
Utah airbags. Automobile airbags had kind of been on the drawing board since the 1960s, but they really weren't practical until about the mid-1980s when they started installing them in cars. Vermont, sandpaper. At least I should say the sandpaper we know today. Forms of sandpaper can be traced back to China in like the 13th or 14th century. But what we know as sandpaper today was developed in 1834 in Springfield, Vermont. Virginia, chapstick. In the late 1890s, Dr. Charles Brown Fleet, known for inventing health products.
Oh, I thought you said chopstick. You know the chopsticks that you can eat with like Chinese food? Yeah. I was going to say what? I was going to say, somebody's not adding up here, bro.
Came up with chapstick in Lynchburg, Virginia. His wife was the one that came up with the idea of selling it like lipstick in a tube, and that helped the business boom. Washington, Windows.
Nah, he created that because his wife had like bad lips, bro. He was like, yo, I'm creating something for your lips. They're crusty.
Operating system, which is on most of our computers. Originally, Bill Gates and his band of merry men.
Where's that
system,
from?
Which is on most of our computers. Originally, Bill Gates and his band of merry men started Microsoft in New Mexico, but in 1979, they moved to Bellevue, Washington. 2 years later, they came out with the first personal computer operating system.
Oh, wow.
West Virginia, steamboats. Steamboats were invented by James Ramsey in 1787 on the Potomac River. Wisconsin, the blender. If you love margaritas, you can thank Wisconsin for your margarita. Wyoming.
Blenders
so they have
used
two
everywhere.
interesting ones. One, I'm not sure if it fits, but we're going to go with it. National parks. The first national parks were in Wyoming. They were sort of placed there. I wouldn't say the whole idea was cooked up there. But
wait, how is that an invention? How is a national park invention? Because the park is just for the nature.
national parks were in interesting.
Suppose like the first national park, like they made it into a national park. Sure.
One, I'm not sure if it fits, but we're gonna go with it.
Right.
National parks.
Fair
The
enough.
first national parks were in Wyoming. They were sort of placed there. I wouldn't say the whole idea was cooked up there. But one thing they did invent in Wyoming was headgear. You know that weird thing you put on your head if you have braces? If you had to wear one of those in the 1970s or 80s, you could thank John Devine for his 1924
What, like the metal
invention.
thing with like the big ass metal thing?
All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
If you're from America, let me know what state you guys are from and what other adventures you think are cooler than the ones that was listed. Or if you agreed, let me know. Good video, enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, mention it, thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/LWG. If you guys want to check me out over there, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.